Tonight, everyone who attended Sunday's Raptors game is now being told to self-monitor for COVID symptoms due to possible exposure. The news coming just hours before tonight's home game.
I mean, I keep my mask on, so I think I'll be fine.
I, keep sanitizer on me, always wear my mask.
Fans tonight not deterred by the news. The biggest fan of all, though, is missing his first home game ever to self-isolate at the advice of public health. Plus,
the actions we take today will help ensure that our communities stay safe this winter.
Ontario announcing changes surrounding proof of vaccination and guidance for holiday gatherings as the Omicron variant continues to spread rapidly. And heavy rains and strong winds, severe weather is on the way with several warnings in place in the GTA. We'll tell you what you can expect. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. Thousands of fans have been advised to self-monitor for COVID symptoms after they attended Sunday's Raptors home game against the Washington Wizards. Now, Toronto Public Health issuing the exposure notice just before tonight's home game at Scotiabank Arena. Dale Manukduk has the details.
19,800 fans watched the Raptors beat the Washington Wizards on Sunday. Now they're being asked to self-monitor because they may have been exposed to COVID-19. Many fans going to tonight's game, though, say they aren't worried.
No, just got to be safe, wear your mask, sanitize your hand, and you'll be all right.
I try to keep my distance, so I'm trying to do the best I can to keep myself safe and others safe.
Toronto Public Health would not specify if the exposure was from a fan or a staff member. More details from the investigation are expected, including lab-confirmed test results. But epidemiologist Christopher Labo says the risk factor at a sporting event is low, especially where vaccination is mandatory, like at a Raptors game.
When you think about how arenas are structured, yes, there's a lot of people there, but you're not interacting with most of them. So if you were sitting right next to the person who had COVID, yes, there's a certain degree of risk there.
If you did attend the game on December 5th, there is guidance available. Now, Toronto Public Health's advice is to self-monitor for 10 days for COVID-19 symptoms and get tested if you develop any, even mild symptoms or no symptoms at all, and make sure that you self-isolate while results are pending. The public health notice comes on the heels of team president Masai Ujiri confirming he tested positive for COVID-19 after his Giants of Africa organization held an in-person event on Sunday, the same day as the game in question. Raptors superfan Nav Bhatia was at that event and had to miss his first ever home game in franchise history. He wrote on his Instagram that it was the toughest post he's ever made. His seat wasn't wasted though, Bhatia posting on Facebook after Cal Penn took his place. Penn will play the part of Bhatia in an upcoming movie about the Raptors superfan. Meanwhile, while COVID-19 cases numbers are on the rise, many fans are on the fence when it comes to the idea of lowering capacity limits.
Some people feel that it's something that should be shut down completely. Others say, hey, life goes on. So it's a debate, and I can see both sides.
Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
The Omicron variant now comprises 10% of all COVID cases in Ontario. Now that's according to the province's top doctor, who warns the new variant could become the dominant strain by next month. Now today, officials announcing steps to help keep numbers down, including tightening the rules around vaccine passports and expanding eligibility for booster shots. Lisa Shing has all the details.
We can expect that the months ahead may be very challenging. The actions we take today will help ensure that our communities stay safe this winter.
As Ontario records 1,453 new cases, a number that's been increasing, officials announced a worrying trend in the spread of the Omicron variant.
It's anticipated that we'll have a significant rise in the coming weeks and in the next month, and that it may become a dominant strain very soon.
That could be as early as January, since Ontario's medical officer of health says it could represent 20% of all COVID-19 cases in the coming days. So the province is making several changes. It's extending its vaccine passport program indefinitely and will require all vaccination certificates to include QR codes as of January 4th. Young people ages 12 to 17 in organized sports at rec centers will have to show proof of vaccination too, and businesses will no longer be able to accept doctor's notes for medical exemptions. That will be done through a QR code as well. But this doctor doesn't think these changes will do much.
The modeling really does suggest that we are heading into a fifth wave that could surpass what we saw in the fourth wave. You're trying to stop a bit of like a leakiness in the system there. I don't think that's going to make a huge impact on transmission.
What might? While Ontario isn't cracking down, it's suggesting people should limit social gatherings through the holidays.
I know many already had plans for social gatherings. We're asking to be prudent, to be cautious, to be moderate.
Those 18 and older will be eligible for their booster shots in the new year. People 50 and up will be able to make appointments for theirs starting Monday, and doctors are urging everyone to get them. Lisa Shing, CBC News, Toronto.
On Sunday, the city is transforming Scotiabank Arena into a superhero-themed vaccine clinic for kids. Called Toronto Kids Vaccine Day, the clinic will see sick kids and Toronto Public Health vaccinating 2,000 children. Along with the superhero theme, there will be live music, entertainment, and giveaways for all the little ones getting their shots. Meteorologist Colette Kennedy joins us now with a first look at the forecast. And Colette, we're getting some pretty heavy rains very soon.
Yeah, a lot of things are going to be happening here over these next 24 hours, Kelda. So we have the rain working its way in, some embedded thunderstorms as well through the overnight, and even that potential early tomorrow morning. So the rainfall warning in place for all the areas you see here in green, so 20 to 40 millimeters. But locally, there could be a few areas that are picking up more like that 45 or more. And then there's the wind. So the rain is a little bit earlier. The winds really don't start picking up till we get into Saturday. The morning from the southwest, that's what's going to be pushing our temperature up to probably what will be a new record, or at least tying the old one. And then as they turn to the northwest late in the day, it'll even set up some squalls, and we'll start to see flurries. So we'll go from warmth to some cooler air. And when they get there, those winds may exceed even 90 kilometers an hour. So I want folks to be aware we could see some power outages. Any kind of Christmas decorations or things that you have up outside, you'll want to be watching those carefully. So there's the heavy rain moving through. We may get a pocket in here of some sunshine while temperatures are still mild, but it will be windy, so a little bit harder to enjoy, but I'm sure we'll manage somehow. Rising overnight, that temperature, and then 15 tomorrow before the winds turn direction, Kelda.
All right, thanks so much, Colette. A protest in solidarity with members of Wet'suwet'en First Nation in BC led to a temporary disruption of traffic at Lakeshore and Spadina at around rush hour tonight. Protesters demanding RCMP officers pull out of Wet'suwet'en territory. Police say some smoke bombs were set off, but it was otherwise peaceful, and there were no arrests. Ontario's police watchdog says it is investigating the death of a Toronto man that took place in October. Police were called to the area of Kennedy and Ellesmere Roads in the early morning hours on October 29th for reports of the sound of gunfire. Police arrived to find a man on the ground who was then taken by paramedics to hospital where he died. Police earlier identified the victim as 54-year-old Douglas Devlin. At the same time, police said Devlin had made his way to a gas station after being shot on the sidewalk while with a dog outside a plaza. The SIU says it launched its investigation after being notified about the incident just yesterday. As for the reason for the delay, an SIU spokesperson said the incident was reported to them after Toronto police investigated the death and uncovered information. A CBC investigation into intimate partner homicides found more than 1 in 3 people accused demonstrated at least one warning sign prior to the killing. A partnership between Peel Regional Police and Safe Centre of Peel in Brampton is trying to make it easier for victims of domestic violence to get access to support before it's too late. Farah Morali has more.
Jerry Dornford remembers all too vividly the day she learned her friend had been killed.
As soon as I got to my apartment, I got the phone call, and she said, it's Brittany.
25-year-old Brittany Newman was stabbed to death in Mississauga. She was a mother of 2. Her former partner charged with the killing.
With every birthday, with every Christmas, kids' birthdays, it's tough.
Dornford says Newman tried to escape what was an abusive relationship, but struggled.
A lot of women, after they've left, they may not want to, but they end up returning. because again, not enough resources, finances.
In recent years, Peel Regional Police have noticed an alarming rise in domestic violence calls. From 2015 to 2020, a 74% increase in call volume. Last year, 5 of the 18 homicides in the entire region were related to intimate partner violence.
So we knew that we had to do something more. This is actually the only signage.
In April, it launched its Intimate Partner Violence Unit, a team of plainclothes officers dedicated to cases where there are grounds for charges. It starts with bringing the victim to a place they feel comfortable.
For reporting that there was always a fear of police and to fear that they had to go into a police station to report. So we wanted to make that easier where they're able to come into a non-police facility.
And this is our child minding room.
The unit operates out of the Safe Centre of Peel, where victims can get wraparound support for issues like finance, housing, and immigration, all in one place.
When people come to the Safe Centre, they tell their story once. They get all the services that they need, and they get the support around navigating the system.
Jashani says there isn't an obligation to file a police report.
They don't have to talk to police. They come and they get the services that they need.
So hopefully make them feel more comfortable that they are able to be strong enough to leave that abusive relationship.
As for Dornford, she welcomes the initiative and says she won't stop advocating for more resources for victims of domestic violence. She herself is a survivor.
I'm going to keep doing this as long as I have breath in my body. Keep bringing awareness.
Farah Morali, CBC News, Toronto.
The countdown is on. We're just 2 days away from the 108th Grey Cup between the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Now, today, the CFL commissioner gave an update on the state of the league, saying the pandemic has forced them to revamp their business model. Jamie Strachan reports.
Now, I'm not going to tell you that, we've been able to fix everything.
After being one of the few professional leagues in the world to cancel an entire season because of COVID, the CFL returned this year. But as it gears up for the 108th Grey Cup, chronic problems persist.
All teams can and should be able to break even. Now, it's going to take a little bit more work.
The CFL has committed to revenue sharing. That means the league's thriving teams out west supporting floundering teams in Canada's biggest cities, especially the Toronto Argos, owned by sports giants MLSC. Attendance and interest has bottomed out in Toronto. Longtime CFL watchers say it's time to pull the plug.
Toronto, the way it's been described to me by some people who know these types of things, is an event town. They're a sexy town. The CFL there and the Argos just are not sexy.
The league disagrees.
I am absolutely confident that Toronto is the right city for us, for the CFL, and we're right for them.
Ambrosi also says gambling is key to the league's future. So too is tapping into young and diverse fans, ignored for years. If Ambrosi is looking for suggestions, many of the players behind me would like to see the league do a much better job marketing their play on the field to Canadian football fans.
People sometimes where they ask me what I do when they say I play for the Tiger Cats, and they're like, the who? You know? Highlight the players a lot more. There's a lot of unique players in this league, unique stories.
Ambrosi also had to defend the on-field product.
The CFL used to be able to point to their game and say, hey, we're more entertaining, we're faster paced, we're going to have these high-scoring shootouts. But we see them more and more in the NFL now on a regular basis.
Of course, all of this could be forgotten, at least for a night, if the hometown Ticats and the visiting Blue Bombers play a great game Sunday. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Hamilton.
Welcome back. The pandemic has been tough for businesses that rely on travel. At Pearson Airport, around 35 out of 175 businesses have shut down. The oldest business at Pearson just reopened 2 months ago. Talia Ricci spoke to a shoe shiner who is trying hard to keep his family's legacy alive.
The final boarding call for Air Canada Flight 414.
So my dad started in 1984. He came out to the airport to apply for a dishwashing job, and there was an older gentleman who was running the shoe shine stand at that time. My dad started talking to him, and he offered my dad a job. And then the older gentleman, he retired, and my dad bought the business from him. And as we started to grow, he brought on my uncle, and the rest is history. My name is Mubin Acha, and I'm one of the owners of Walter Shoeshine here at Pearson Airport. We have 7 locations.
What was the most difficult part about operating a business like a Shoeshine business located in an airport during the pandemic?
All the managers in the restaurants, everybody has said the same thing, that this, especially at the airports, it's been tough, right? It's I don't think anybody has come along and told us at the airports that things have been good. 95% of our clientele are business people. We haven't seen the business clientele return. To get back to where we were pre-COVID, I think it'll be 3-4 years at least.
What is it that makes a good Shoeshine?
All depends on the leather of the shoe and the quality of the leather. That's very, very important.
So these are probably some pretty old.
Well, they're okay, but we'll make them look new. Generally, it's a 6-step process. First, we clean with your suede. What we do is we try to bring the knot back, and then we'll shampoo with it. 99.9% of the time, people are happy when they leave, right? So it's nice to have that feeling that you've done something to make somebody else happy. It's like being a cab driver or barber or bartender. In that short 5 to 10 minutes, you can hear a lot, and people tell you how their day is and what they're going through. The stories, the things that you hear, I could tell you stories till all day long.
What is your hope for the future of your business, and why is it so important to you that you remain in business?
Right now, we're trying to just break even. If we can break even for the next year or so, we'd be happy. This is our family legacy. It's put a lot of people through school. It's put food on the table for a lot of people. So hopefully my children and my family in general can carry on this legacy.
Today, MPPs from across the province were lending a helping hand to the Daily Bread Food Bank, sorting donations that will be distributed during the holiday season.
Opportunity for us to be able to talk about the challenges that we have, and most importantly, the recommendations and solutions to the systemic barriers that so many people have, causing them to come to food banks.
This comes as the Daily Bread continues to see a record number of visits. Hetherington presented the officials with a petition signed by 27,000 Ontarians. It calls on the province to reduce poverty by 50% by 2030.
Well, it's clear that we need to have policies in place that have incomes keep up with the rising cost of living.
This is important work, but the hope is that one day it'll go away. But in order to do that, we have to address the systemic gaps in our system.
The Daily Bread has seen visits increase by 47% in Toronto. They say it's vital for government leaders to support community access to food and address this growing crisis. And you can still do your part this holiday season to support food banks across the GTA. CBC Toronto's Sounds of the Season fundraiser is working with the Daily Bread Food Bank, and you can join myself and others from CBC Toronto for our first ever drive-through food drive tomorrow. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at either the Metro Toronto Convention Centre or Knights Table in Brampton. For more information, visit cbc.ca/SOTS. And you're looking at a live shot of the Toronto skyline, the calm before the storm. Several warnings are in place as the city braces for some heavy rains, and along with it, potentially record-breaking warmth. Currently, 5 degrees in the city. Let's go back to Colette now with a more detailed look at your forecast. And Colette, lots of things going on over the next little bit. Besides the rain, we can expect some really strong winds.
Yeah, that's right. So I was showing earlier in the show the rainfall warning and the wind warnings that are in place. Then there's a few areas outside of the GTA or other parts of Ontario where they're still looking at even just a special weather statement for the poor conditions. And even beyond that, into eastern Ontario, some freezing rain warnings in place. They're closer to the nation's capital and the border with Quebec. So record warmth quite likely for Saturday, but with those strong winds. But I will tell you, once we get past this situation, as as we look into next week and what's to come, it actually looks like we're going to be into a mild, not record-setting, but a mild pattern. So some of the heavy rains and embedded thunderstorms that roll through tonight into tomorrow morning, still some lingering showers, but we'll start to see it more intermittent and even get some breaks. Those winds from the southwest will have pushed that temperature up to about 15 degrees. A few sunny breaks in there, although it'll be breezy. That will be that kind of nice pocket, that window of opportunity to actually enjoy it, even though it'll be windy. But once the cold front goes through and we get into that northwesterly flow, temperatures will be plummeting, happening pretty quickly, and we'll start to see some squalls setting up. And then we could end the day with some flurries even making their way into the GTA. You'll get that clearing sooner for southwestern Ontario. Some of the rainfall amounts could exceed 30 millimeters in Windsor, and these are looking a little lower, but still 20 millimeters for Toronto, but locally with those thunderstorms, that's where we could see those enhanced. Watch those winds, how they're really going to be ramping up and sometimes exceeding even 80 kilometers an hour with those strong winds. Again, first from the southwest, then more from the west to kind of a northwesterly flow that we will be seeing. Even Sunday, by the way, Grey Cup, much better conditions, but still going to be a little bit breezy, and that can have an effect on some of those kicks, right? Overnight tonight, your temperatures will actually be rising there in southwestern Ontario and up to 15, 16 for Windsor tomorrow, and a look at our temperatures up to 15 for Toronto. And then I do want you to see what I'm talking about. What's coming beyond that is actually some decent weather into next week, too.
Love to see it. Thanks so much, Colette. Finally tonight, a hairstylist in Hamilton has had some notable cats walk through her door ahead of Sunday's Grey Cup. She hopes her styles can give the hometown team an edge.
I would hope that I'm able to give them a boost, a positive boost, a confidence boost, a beauty boost even. I would hope so. And I think once you look good, you feel good.
If you can believe it, she's only been doing hair full-time for 2 years. She says former Ticats Adrian Tracy approached her after hearing a glowing review of her work. Since then, she says she's worked with about 20 former and present Ticat players, and we'll soon find out whether her styles can be the good luck charm for the team. And that's our show for you tonight and for the week. Thank you so much for watching. Shannon Martin has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6, and I will see you back here on Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone.